It really is an all or nothing summer transfer window, isn't it? 100%. And I've said it once and I will say it again. This could be a more important summer window in our modern history. Good morning and welcome back to the West Ham Network for today's West Ham Daily. It is live, so get your comments in. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. However, life is getting back to normal for me and I'm busy. I've got meetings here, there, and everywhere. So I try my best to give you as much content as we can. I do the pre-records, of course, as we do as normal. However, today I've managed to bring on a live show, so I thought I'd do one for you this morning. So today's show is all about the following. Roll the title. I mean, the last time I said that this summer window was the most important in the modern history was back in 2016 after our very successful season, last season ever at Upton Park. And we had a chance to kick on from that wonderful season. We had some form of European football to look forward to. And it was vital that we brought in real quality squad depth. But what transpired was extremely different. Quantity over quality springs to mind back then. And that's why I really tried to believe in what Moyes is doing at our club. He's working with a squad of players, albeit it's small, but he is getting the best out of every single one of those players. The last bit of every single bit of quality that they've got, he is bringing out in these players on and off the pitch. And he has really built a force to be reckoned with. He's definitely got West Ham at a stage where we can now kick on and move on, for the long term. A group of friends, players from all different walks of life who've got each other's backs, and a true West Ham family. You can actually see that we are a true West Ham family. Now, after 2 consecutive successful seasons on the trot, we find ourselves in a similar position to 2016, but this time we've got to get it right in order to kick on. There is no ifs or buts about it. And that's why I do back David Moyes' transfer policy. I do back what's currently going on. He's taking his time and he doesn't want to upset the team spirit. And good on him for doing that. We can't really blame him for that. But this summer window really is all or nothing for me. It really, really is. And we have to back a manager who has worked wonders with our squad. He asks for the tools. He should get them within reason, no matter the cost. And we all feel like 5 or 6 fresh faces of pure quality is enough for West Ham to kick on. And my words, we have been linked to plenty. We have been linked to plenty. So before I get started and talk about some of the players, I'll get into the chat and see who's kicking about, and I'll go through some of those players as well. So Sharky's in the house. Good morning to you, my friend. Hope you're keeping well. Tielemans, please. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Danjuma, I do like. I mean, Tielemans and Danjuma, I think they're 2 quality players, but we'll get into them as well. Jack Payne on the fence about Danjuma. On one hand, he's he's keen to play for us, but on the other hand, there's these rumors about his attitude. Interesting to see what Moyes decides to do. Absolutely. Top of the morning from Cross Hammer to you all. Danjuma would be such a good signing with Broja up top and Bowen on the right. Yeah, I do. I've got to agree with you 100%, definitely. Good to see you guys. I hope you're well, mate. Irons, Toby, good to see you. Hope you're well. And hopefully I get to meet you this season, physically meet you as well. That'll be good. I see Diop is close to leaving. Of course, I think there's rumours around several players of West Ham potentially heading at the door. Morning, all. Please not John McGinn. I'll talk about him. Because he's topical. So I'll bring him into it. I'll bring him into it, definitely. I rate Mcginn. Well, I'll tell you what I think of him as well, and you can look at it as well. Bozuzuku, I really don't want Lingard. I think the fan base are really split. Keith Fenn is saying Moyes is thinking about Danjuma, who's worried about his attitude. I think there's several players we could be worried about the attitude, but I think there's no doubt whatsoever that he won't bring a player in if there is a problem with their attitudes. Alfie Boy is in the house. Good morning. Hope you are well, Revelator Alf. If you are interested in checking out Revelator Alf's channel, go and have a look. He has got a YouTube channel, very successful YouTube channel. Trev Tube, morning all. I see Lewis Potter as more of a Moyes player with a solid temperament. Danjuma is very good, but might rock the boat. Absolutely. You're all talking to each other, which is really nice. Danjuma, Broja, Bowen in the front three is insanely good. Brian is saying John McGinn is probably good on FIFA. Ralph is saying McGinn spends much time on his arse, likes to roll about. No to Josh Brownhill, quite underwhelming. Okay, squad player. I'll talk about that as I go through because I don't talk about Brownhill specifically, but I talk about what Moyes is trying to build as well. Are you talking about you love our videos or you love Alf's videos? Chris, let us know who you're talking about. Both videos are very good, though, I must say. Usual suspect McGinn seems like the fourth choice. Let the Geordies have McGinn. Robert Singleton. River Alf, how have you been? Long time no here. Well, you might be seeing a little bit of Alfie Boy again, kicking back in the new season. Keep an eye on the channel. Be a good squad player at least. Yarmo going to Fulham. And so yeah, there you go. It's I love seeing when everyone has a good old chin wag with each other. And it is an early morning start, but I will get started on today's show, and we are going to talk about players that West Ham are linked with, and who we can potentially see coming in. So first up is this player, Wacham Maehle. A terrible pronunciation, but I do apologise. He plays for Atlanta, and apparently West Ham are extremely interested in him. And we've got to, if we're going to get this deal over the line, we're looking at about £17 million, about £20 million euros. He's a 25-year-old right back. And now people might be saying, well, why are we looking at right back position, especially when we have strength and depth in that role? Vladimir Sofal, Ben Johnson, and even Harrison Ashby to call upon. But what you can do is potentially see that Ben Johnson might be flicked out to the left, might be given a bit of support there. And we're going to need strength in numbers, especially after the injury crisis we found ourselves in last season with the central defenders. Now, it is looking a bit more likely that West Ham are the front runners for this player. It's just whether or not we can get the deal over the line. But what do we know about the player? He's 29 cap, Denmark international. And he's been someone apparently we've been looking at for such a while. And he was pivotal to Denmark reaching the semi-finals of the Euros last year before they crashed out at the hands of England at Wembley, of course. And he did put himself firmly on the map in that tournament with a string of impressive displays, chipping in with a impressive haul of 2 goals and 1 assist in 6 outings in the tournament. And one moment in that game that caught the eye, he produced an outside of the boot assist for his teammate for the win over the Czech Republic. So he's obviously got the ability to get the ball forward and find a player as well. He's got an impressive overall international record with 14 goal contributions in just 29 appearances to date for Denmark. And he's also recorded 10 goals and 30 assists in 217 club appearances to date, proving himself to be a menace in the final third. Not bad for a wing back, really, isn't it? And yeah, he may have somewhat, and this is where the deal could start to transpire into something. He's fallen out of favour for his current side, making just 15 Serie A starts last term. And he did used to play for Genk, so it'll be interesting if Michael's in the chat and he can give us a bit of a more rating for him. But, you know, he still compares favourably to those in his position across Europe, and this is maybe why David Moyes is looking at him. He's ranking in the top 11% for touches in the opposition penalty area and top 8% for progressive passes received. Although that willingness to get forward is aided by his usual wing, back, wide midfield role for both club and country, he is a 6'1" beast. You know, for a wing back, it's quite a large guy, but he is comfortable at fullback or either flank, and he's got a large amount of versatility that he can play in the role. So I just wonder if Moyes is getting closer to bringing someone like him in. We're all talking about the left back position. What's going to be interesting is, and I'll make this point now to everyone, we're all talking about Masuaku leaving the club. But if you want to build strength and depth, and we've already got rid of 4 or 5 players, you don't get rid of players you've got currently in the squad. And Moyes does seem to have some form of connection to Masuaku, whether that being that he's an extremely important player in the dressing room and he can step in and be a progressive player for us. I just wonder if we will be keeping him on the books for another season. You know, is it worth West Ham selling to generate small amount of income when you've got a player who knows the club inside out? We need strength and depth. We need depth. Depth doesn't mean you keep getting rid of players. So if you're going to bring in 6 and get rid of 6, we've still not got depth in the squad. We may have quality in the 15 that we've got, but we need to bring in that strength and depth. Now, I'm not canvassing for West Ham to keep Masuaku, but I've just got this sneaky suspicion that he could be staying at the club. So I'm going to jump into the comments and see what everyone is saying just now. Where are we? Where are we? Danjuma, David is saying we'll come on to him. Could be a perfect signing. He isn't good off the ball. He's good in the air and can also be a lone striker. Johnson wasn't so great at left back. I remember we need a proper one. I don't know, mate. I've seen so many different opinions on Ben Johnson. I'm a fan. I really am a fan. I think I would prefer Ben Johnson at left back than I would Masuaku. And I think he's so young and willing to learn and keeps getting better every single season. I think it'll be a big season for Ben Johnson as well. Lingard will be completed on July the 1st, hopefully, fingers crossed. I agree, he fills in well as a backup, but shouldn't be first choice. Moyes will have Lingard straight in. They need to look at not just this season, but next with aging players, get them in early. All this chat about us going for Rafinha and Chelsea want him, I know, and I think Arsenal were close to potentially getting him over the line, but then Chelsea have come in and paid over the odds to get him in. Left back is more important than right back this season. I love Creswell, but we knew last time out he needs backup, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do see the switch from Ben Johnson over to the other side. Maehle is a very good attacking left back. He's physical, very quick on his decision. He'll be another good signing for us. We need a proper left back as well. Morning all from Papa Firth as well. So really good to see everyone in the chat. Keep talking to each other. Keep those beautiful comments coming in. Right, next I'm going to move into the midfield and our attacking options, as it looks like we're going to be dipping into the market to purchase creativity, flair, players that can score. So I'm going to talk about the midfield and the attacking options. And first up is the story, the long-going saga for over a year, Jesse Lingard, and where West Ham to complete the deal for Lingard, he would likely become one of the highest paid players at the club, earning in excess of 100k a week. Now, loads of other clubs are potentially looking at him, but it's whether they've put an offer onto the table. And it's unlikely that some of these clubs are going to put the offer on the table for the 29-year-old. And his campaign at Manchester United last season wasn't great. It really wasn't. He had a bad run of form last season at Old Trafford, failing to earn a regular spot under their manager Ralph Rangnick's side. After making 18 appearances and scoring 2 goals, he averaged 0.5 shots, 0.5 key passes, and 0.1 dribbles per game in the Premier League football. And he was also able to make only 9 average passes per game with a pass success rate of 88%. So not the greatest of seasons for Jesse Lingard. And we all know the story about him. I'm not going to go into him. But what we don't really talk about is what he can excel at. He excels at creating space for himself. So if he comes to a club like West Ham and David Moyes puts his arm around him, then of course we can get, hopefully, fingers crossed, the best out of him. He does create space for himself and he gets shots on target when he plays regular game time. He can even use his quickness to make some clever runs inside the penalty box, make a few decent runs with the ball on an attacking end on the field. He's got the England international scene coming up with the Qatar World Cup, so that'll be something he really wants to do, and I'll be really shocked if we don't bring Lingard in. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I really will, and I think his strengths outweigh his weaknesses by far, and if he can recover from a slump of form, which I think he can under David Moyes in the coming months, then I think he will be a great free agent coming in to the club this summer, and I do see it happening. I really, really do see it happening as well. So get your comments in about the Jesse Lingard saga. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I think bringing him in would be cool. And I think that is a kind of all or nothing signing. You know, you put your cards on the table, which I think apparently we have, and it's now down to Jesse Lingard. And I think, to be honest, I think he's going to look at the offer that West Ham are offering him and think, do you know what? I need to repay the faith in what this club have done. They've been around for so long, looking at interest in what I'm wanting to bring in. So I'm going to jump into the comments and see what everyone else is saying as well. Toby, is it your birthday, mate? Happy bloody birthday to you, mate. Many happy returns. If anyone doesn't know, please message Toby in the chat and let's get him a happy birthday. And do you know what? See, because it's your birthday, Toby boy, I'm going to send you something, mate. I am going to send you something. So I'm going to message you straight after here. I'm going to get your address again. I'm going to fire something across to you, mate, for your birthday. You'd absolutely deserve it. Why not? Happy birthday, Toby. I'll get Boogers to sign a shirt for you. Anton, not going to go into it, proceeds to go into I have to do it a little bit. You're right on Lingard, mate. I don't see Maehle happening for me. That would mean we'd have to replace Sufal. We're not going to spend nearly 20 million on right back to put him on the bench unless that's Moyes' thinking. I don't see Lingard to succeed this time around at West Ham because he's now a different player than he was before. I think Jesse will hit the ground running. He's done it once and got back into the England squad. And I think this is where I'm going to go back to what Moyes is building. And he wants pieces of the jigsaw to be built. You know, he's got this jigsaw, he's got this puzzle, and he needs to find the right pieces. And for me and you, we're looking at maybe stats about what they've done last season, but what they can get from the player. Moyes looks at players and goes, I see what you can do, but I think if I bring you in, I'll get the best of you, the best version of you. And I genuinely think he has got that ability as a coach. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to move into another position. A position that's up for strengthening, apparently, central midfield. Mark Noble's retired. Kral's going to nip away from the club quietly, probably. And there are a few reports suggesting that Mr. Steven Gerrard is fed up with this man, John Mcginn, and is open to letting Mcginn leave the club because he's fed up with the player apparently whining a lot behind the scenes. So should Villa let the midfielder go, then there'll be no shortage of teams wanting to sign him. And some reports have been linking McGinn to West Ham. Now, why? Why? Because he's an underwhelming player for me, right? So when I hear a player like John McGinn linked to West Ham, it doesn't send shivers up my spine. I just go, nah. That's the only way I can describe it. Blah. However, under the new regime of what David Moyes is trying to achieve, going back to that puzzle that he's wanting to build, I can see why a player like McGinn fits in that puzzle. So you've got what you could say, not exactly like a Roy Keane model, but he's exactly the type of player that you could reference that's the similarity. He's 27-year-old. He's box-to-box midfielder, and he has the type of aggression and intensity that David Moyes will like. There is no ifs or buts about it. He doesn't. McGinn, it's not, flashing lights, buzzing over the moon, but he could be a really, really key player to a team, and he has been for Aston Villa over his whole career. He's got energy, he's got determination, and he does have a bit of quality to add to that as well. He's a left-footed, but he can play on the right of a midfield three, and he's not the most identifiable as a specific type of midfielder, but he does work hard. He works extremely hard. He tackles, he creates, and he runs with the ball to provide a great goal threat. He also lifts his teammates when he plays. He is extremely passionate on the field. West Ham fans would love the McGinn type of player, but I'm being treading carefully along the McGinn type of thing. But his passion, he absolutely would win the fan base over 100%. Now, I would say he's not an extraordinary athlete, but he does keep himself extremely fit, and he's got to, he covers an impressive nearly 11K in games per 90 minutes. So he's a runner. He gets everywhere else, and he scampers around the field to break up play with enthusiasm. So breaks up the play, things you want to hear. Souček, Declan Rice, and you can see how that partnership could build up as well. When Villa are on the front foot, he pushes himself to break into the opposition box, and then the trait undoubtedly provides an added dimension to the team. He's a good finisher. He is definitely a good finisher, and he occupies defenders when balls are played into the area because he's just constantly on the move. And it's no surprise that Villa actually do score more goals when McGinn is in the team. Now, he's had 100 Premier League appearances. He's got 9 goals for Aston Villa, 12 assists, and he's got a 62% tackle success rate, 585 recoveries in the Premier League in his career in 100 Premier League games he's played, 654 duels he has won, and 149 successful 50-50s. In total, he played 98 games for St Mirren, 4 goals and 7 assists before moving to Hibernian in Scotland, played 136 games for them, scoring 17 and assisting 29 before making the move to Aston Villa, covering the Championship and the Premier League, 147 games for Aston Villa, scoring 16 and assisting 23 goals. He has played 48 times for Scotland as an international, scoring 13 goals. He's one of the first names on the team sheet for Scotland. When I speak to my mates, they all talk to me and say that McGinn is like the first name on the team sheet. He's quality, and he really gets the players and the fans up for it. And I can't help but think that maybe this is a player that on paper I don't look at and go, he gives me the va-va-voom, he excites me, whatever. But when you listen to Aston Villa fans, he's apparently so vital to them in anything that they do. And I start to build up, well, is Moyes going to look at that and think, well, this is a little piece of the jigsaw we can bring in to add the value. So I do agree with you, Toby, when you said that you think you could add quality and strength in that area. But the thing is, he would probably want some form of guarantee of first team football. So it depends on what Moyes is going to do. Now you've got Souček, Rice, and if you brought someone in like Mcginn, and then you bring in some attacking options, then what do? Who plays? But we do have plenty of game time to offer because we have a Europe. Well, we need to get through the playoff obviously as well, but then we've got some form of European football. But it will be interesting. But we've been going on about strength and depth for such a long time, and this is a sort of player that potentially could offer that as well. So let me jump into the chat and see what everyone. Well, do you know what? It's a good statement to make. Pitbull-esque, 100%. He really is. He's tenacious. He doesn't really give up. His ability to keep going at things all the time. You're worried about being messed about by Chelsea. I think, do you know what? I mean, I wouldn't worry about it because I'm really got the faith in what Moyes is trying to achieve this season, and I think he's working wonders about what he actually wants to do. So I wouldn't worry about it. I really, really, really wouldn't worry about it as well. So would I, Jason, as Anton would say, he is Moyesified? Absolutely. I would take Mcginn. He's an absolute engine, and I think I like that word, Moyesified. He is already Moyesified, and he'll go through that process and as well. Mcginn would work for Moyes at the right price from Kieran. Hope you're well, Kieran. Good to see you, mate. Howard, I'm 49 in 6 weeks. Never thought I'd see past 40. Well, you have, mate, and congratulations in 6 weeks' time. I was talking to a Rangers fan and he said Bassey is brilliant. Yeah, I do. I speak the same. They say he's quality. He's a quality player. Left back by trade, but can play a centre half as well. Better than Snoddy. Not so sure why we got rid of Snoddy. Alf, we know you love Snodgrass. But yeah, I think his I can see the comment coming after that. Oh, Snoddy was shit though. Alf. McKenn, Brownhill, Cullen, Coventry rotating or being played alongside Souček, Rice would be great. The thing is, you bring someone like McGinn, you keep Souček and Rice, it pushes Coventry and players like that further down the pecking order as well, doesn't it? So Gaza, apparently Villa have cooled their interest in Souček. Honestly, Gaza, mate, I really can't see Souček leaving. I think every player within reason is under watch from all clubs. So if there's a good price that comes in, then we'll be open to selling, like we know with Declan Rice. 120 million comes in, bang, he's gone. And the same with Souček, the same with every player at West Ham. But I don't see Souček leaving the club, mate. I really, really, really don't. TDYN rescue, Bassey would be a great signing. In the same way Ballon Dawson does with his heart, he always gives 100%. Nobody would have thought he would have progressed the way he did at West Ham, but he did. Raywis is saying, Mcginn is a very good player, just needs to cut out the play acting. McGinn, I'd rather have Phil Jones. We're pushing on us in dead ways. Oh, my word. We just need someone that can split the line. He's not that player. No, you're right. He's not going to split the line and penetrate passing, etc. The next couple of players I'm going to talk about could do that as well. So Gary says McGinn would be good for us. Reminds me of Tevez, possibly. It's been a few difficult seasons waiting for players. At last, he is doing it now. Let's hope he is. James, good to see you, mate. Hope you are keeping safe and well as always. I'm doing all right. Thank you very much. I'm very busy. Like normality's kicked back in. I'm taking an early lunch today. In Scotland, the kids stopped for their summer holidays today. So it's just mayhem right now. And I'm trying my best to get some live content out to you. So I thought I'd come on a bit earlier and take an early lunch. I still think Souček can play in behind the centre of the striker. I definitely want Ross Barkley. I'm not going to talk about him today, but I can see why. McGinn isn't good enough to lace Tevez's boots. I agree, Anton, on Souček as well. Well, I mean, McGinn, you've given me your your opinion on him, and it's split. The fan base is absolutely split. But let me move on to the next player. And as it's been reported, Tielemans, Leicester City's Tielemans, is a player that we have been linked with previously. Looks as if he's available to sign this summer, and he's only got 1 year left on his contract. He's a Belgium international, and he could be the perfect candidate to revolutionise Moyes' midfield. He's got everything. He's got goals from outside the box. He's got creativity. He works hard. He dictates the game. He's very competitive, and he's at a good age, and the best is yet to come. It's just whether or not we could tempt Tielemans away from Leicester City for the right price to believe in the project that David Moyes is building and not and fend off other clubs from the top six who are looking at him as well. And Leicester won't be playing in Europe again next year. West Ham hopefully will, and he probably does deserve to be playing in Europe. And it's not difficult to understand why he may think that way as well. And they did sign him on a permanent deal, Leicester, for 40 million quid back in 2019. And he has been really vital. He makes over 1 interception per game, over 2 tackles per game. He makes over nearly 2 clearances per game. And he's got a success rate of winning duels of 52%. So he gets stuck in for a creative player. He gets absolutely stuck in. He has a Dutch, sorry, he's not a Dutch international. Sorry, I don't know where I'm getting that. He is a Belgium international, but he does have real, pure, utter quality. It's just whether or not West Ham can tempt a player like Tielemans to West Ham away from Leicester City. Not, coming away from the project that Brendan Rodgers is building and coming to the project that David Moyes is building. And I think what adds to that and what helps is the quality of signings that West Ham make. We bring Aguerd in, we bring Areola in. If we can bring the likes of Lingard in and bring someone else in, Tielemans may look at that and go, there's a project happening over there. That is exactly what I want to come in and join and be a part of. So I like Tielemans, but the realistic thing is, what are we going to do? Are we going to sign Tielemans? Are we going to sign Danjuma? Are we going to sign Lingard? Are we going to sign Mcginn? That's 4 midfielders. And I don't doubt we're in the market for that. But that makes me think that David Moyes is only going to look at one striker, and even at all if he can bring a striker in, because it looks like he's going to go for the creative option of loads of, what do you call them, false nines, you could say. Loads of players who can score goals from all different areas around the park. So I think Tielemans would be a great sign. It's just whether or not we can actually get him over the line as well. David is saying, absolutely not getting Tielemans. Some of these stories are just nonsense. I'm not saying to you that we're linked to them. I'm saying these are the sort of players that I'm saying, I'm reporting what's out there. David, I'm totally reporting what's out there. I'm just saying, could these be the sort of players that could really transition West Ham? You can see from the thumbnail that there are players there that were kind of proactively linked to, and some that aren't, or maybe pulled out, plucked out. But I'm just trying to say, would Tielemans add that value to the team to progress West Ham? And I think a player like Tielemans absolutely would. Tielemans comes, Rice stays. Can't see it happening, to be honest, for Crosshammer. That would be a marquee signing, but I can't see it. But I don't doubt for a second, though, Toby, that West Ham are in the market for a marquee signing. I really think we are in the market for a marquee signing. It would really be good as well. Morning, Mr. You're all talking to each other. Tielemans would be perfect. He is top drawer player. Would love Harvey Barnes on the left as well. Loads of players say they want Champions League. They can't all get it. What they mean is they want Champions League wages. Good point. Good point, William. Tielemans goes missing in too many games, but you could find that he could be the right player to fit the system of what Moyes is looking for. Anton, if we Jimmy Crank and take Scotland out on their own, will you stop supporting West? I don't want to get into politics, mate. That would now be nice. I want Souček to stay and play with Rice, who is the ideal player to come in, Anton, because Souček plays better in more advanced role. He does, but there's no ifs and buts about it. Moyes is looking for recruits in that role. And there has been a time where he's played with Noble when Noble was there, Rice and Souček, especially when Souček first came in, and it did work in that kind of triangle effect. If one went forward, two sat, if two went forward, one sat, and they worked really, really well together. So there's different options here. And as it goes back to the title of this show, it's all or nothing. Instead, Tielemans, what about bring Cullen back? He's done quite well last season. Yeah, I like the likes of Cullen. Listen, if Cullen hadn't played for West Ham and produced the stats that he's done for Anderlecht this season, we would be looking at Cullen going, why are we not looking at bringing him back to the club? So it looks like Cullen was just the sort of player that needed to go out, have some game time, and have a manager that played him week in and week out. Vincent Kompany did that. We are linked to him. Again, we're linked to everyone and their gran and auntie and brother and sister and kids. But I could see West Ham having a genuine interest in Cullen, but Burnley probably more likely a destination for him as well. Put Souček up and play a proper defensive midfielder alongside Rice, use the wings to create chances. It does make it all interesting. It does too, much more cheaper. Will we end up signing someone we have not talked about? Do you know what? I'd love that, Victor. I would love it more than anything. I really would. Pagan Punk, Moyes knows what he's doing. I have faith in him, 100%. And I really Do you know what? I really do like the signs of McNeil from Burnley. I mean, he's a good signing for a decent price, and I think he could really make the transition into challenging the first team. He's creative, he's clever, he's got hard work, he's got determination. He's another player as well that I would definitely like West Ham to look at. Cullen would be great depth, West Ham fan too. Suchek being in a more advanced role, he starts getting them headers in again. Ralph is saying, yep, I like Cullen, but I also like Connor. Cullen wasn't good enough before, very much, but he's improved massively. And if he does, it's a failure of our coaching and development. But he has, though. That's the thing. Okay, you could question whether or not the Belgian league is the same standard. It's not, absolutely not. But he is tearing the league up. He really is. His season stats, his average per game stats are top notch. He was the engine of that team. Everything went through Josh Cullen for Anderlecht. So it looked like he just needed a bit of support and a manager to back him up and support him as much as they possibly could. And he got that with Vincent Company and Anderlecht. So a left back and two strikers would be cooking on gas next season. Yeah, Fornals could drop deeper at centre midfielder like Lanzini can, absolutely. But what it does is it gives West Ham versatility and options, and I can absolutely see that as well. Cullen didn't get a proper chance. Cullen's biggest game was against Shrewsbury. I'd love a 4-3-3 with a middle three of Rice, Suchek, and Tielemans, and a front three of Danjuma, Bowen, and Broja. Strength and depth is what we need, absolutely. And it is silly season. It's all talk of speculation, frustrating, but that's how it is these days. I miss the days when it all came out of nowhere, like Tevez signing. Absolutely, I'll never forget that day. But let's be honest as well. Nobody reported Suchek. Nobody reported Sofao. Nobody knew when Areola was going to sign, not this time, but when he signed for on loan at West Ham. So all that sort of stuff is really, really interesting to see. The Tevez signing, I remember that. I can't forget it. That was like Christmas Day when I woke up that morning to find that they'd both signed for the club. But when it comes to Tielemans, can you see West Ham bringing them in? Let me know and put it in the comments below. But we'll move on next, and I've spoke about him a little bit. Danjuma, who plays for Villa Real. Is he a target for West Ham? It looks like he is, but it looks like other clubs are snooping around him. But another player to make a statement of intent for this season, if West Ham were able to bring him over the line. He can operate either through the middle or on the attack or on the wing. And he is expected to be part of Louis van Gaal's Holland team that go to the 2022 World Cup in November in Qatar as well. And he is linked to the likes of Liverpool, and obviously he'll have connections there as well. So he scored 16 goals in all competitions last season for Villarreal, which is more than Antonio, and you could say Said Benrahma. And his goals would add different dimension to the firepower of West Ham. He's a very versatile forward for anyone. He can play across that line, and that would make him a very useful and adaptable player to come in. And Moyes likes to deploy players and get the best out of them in covering all different positions. He is a right-footed winger, but he can play in the left flank. He scores plenty of goals, which instantly gives us a strong indication of a style of play. So to bring someone like Danjuma into West Ham, you're going to have to be paying upwards of 40 plus million pounds for him. So I can't see us bringing in Tielemans. I can't see us bringing in Danjuma, and I can't see us bringing in Mcginn, because you're looking at collectively 125 million pounds. It's going to be one or the other or none. But it would be, when he was playing at Bournemouth, we got to see what he was capable of. He was one of their standout performers. There was no ifs or buts about it. He was one of their more creative players. He's gone to Villarreal, and he's proven he can do it in La Liga. And he looks like he potentially wants to come back to England. It's just where he can go. He probably fits the style of what West Ham are looking for, but he also fits the style of what potentially Liverpool are looking for. I think this is a real quality player that can really add value, and it's a more realistic signing compared to Tielemans. The difference you've got between Tielemans is he's played most of his recent career in the Premier League, while Danjuma's gone away to La Liga and performed that well. The thing you've got with Danjuma, though, is that he has spoken out quite clearly in the past, and he does seem to say what's on his mind. So when Bournemouth were playing in the Championship, he made a statement saying that he didn't want to play there anymore because he felt like the Championship wasn't his level. So he's very outspoken, and Moyes might not like that, but it'll be interesting to see if Moyes can, he'll also go through the characteristic test that West Ham do week in and week out. And I think Danjuma could be a real quality player. In actual fact, I think adding Danjuma is, I think to myself, does he come into the team, the starting 11? And I think he's a sort of player that does. I also think Tielemans is a sort of player that does, but I see Danjuma being more of a realistic target than Tielemans as well. So leave your comments in the comment section. I'm going to jump in now and see what everyone else is saying. Danjuma had a release clause of around £32 million. If it is that, then that's cool. Instead of Russ's rumor rating, we need Anton's approximate assessment. Honestly, I would love it to bring in Danjuma, very versatile player. Would prefer McNeil. I liked him at Bournemouth. He's a family there. I hope we bring in Lewis Potter. I think he's a quality player as well. One for the future, definitely. Burnley have to sell, as all went for them, and they pay off a lot of their debts. It's getting relegated. Doesn't he have a £40 million buyout clause? If he does, I apologise. I just, I should throw out a number there, etc. But you're talking about 40 odd million as well. He definitely gets into the starting 11. He does. I'd take him, and we'd pay wide left in a 4-3-3 as well. I'm just trying to see what other comments of player coming in. It's no good playing players like Vlasic and Benny on the wing. They're not wingers. David says, was a little bit late to the chat today. Have you discussed Brentford £60 million for? No, I haven't. I have not, because I wasn't going to talk about Keane Lewis-Potter today, but I think he's another acquisition that West Ham could make. And I think he's the sort of player that West Ham could make. He's a sort of player that wouldn't start for West Ham, but would come in and add real quality and take a season to develop into the player that he could become, a bit like what Jared Bowen did. But I do think West Ham might be keeping Benrahma as well, because there's no point in us getting rid of there as well. What's going on with the beard? Is this my beard? My beard? Are you not happy with it? God, there's so many things, so many comments, but it's good to see. If you don't hit the like button, you're a Spurs fan. Just 2 likes on the show. Are you serious? There's so many people watching. If you are watching right now, there is the thumbs up option. Click that thumbs up option. That will notify you. Not will notify. Just hit the thumbs up, please. It really does help the channel. I can't believe there's only 2 likes on the channel. That's terrible. That is terrible. McNeil's stats are woeful. He flashes to deceive when Danjuma's ripped it up, but sounds like a bad apple. Would rather Keane Lewis-Potter and Dennis for about the Danjuma money. It's the year for Benny, folks. It could be. It absolutely could be. You ain't Russ. You ain't no Russ. Absolutely not. But something else about this season, though, that we haven't spoken about, and I didn't know if I was going to talk about it, but some news came out before I came on live, and that is the fact that West Ham are snapping up a lot of the youth players. Now, a lot of the younger players are going to have a vital role this season. It's an opportunity for them to make the step up. But I really like what's going on. I really do. It is dog eat dog down in that kind of development team. They're going around snapping up the best talent they can from around the clubs, but they're obviously finding, diamonds in the rough, and they are going to back the players when they see them. Now, Nathan Trott has signed a contract extension with the club till 2024 with a further 2-year option. Now, he is an England under 2020 international goalkeeper who made his first team debut for West Ham in the FA Cup third round over Doncaster Rovers at London Stadium in January 2021. And he's going to continue his development under the guidance of Xavi Valero and alongside experienced keepers Fabianski, Areola, and of course Dan Randolph, who's still at the club. And I don't know what's going on with Dan Randolph, but it looks like he might be there as well. Now, he did spend last season on loan at French League Two side Nancy, and he is looking forward to continue his journey with West Ham, having initially joined the club back in 2016 from a recommendation from the legend Clyde Best. So he went on and he said, it's been a very positive vibe since I've been back, and seeing how the team's been performing over the last 2 or 3 years, I think it's something I've always wanted to be part of, and I'm really happy that the club value me and have invested time in me, hopefully push me into the team in the future. He said, I came in at 16 and I'm going on 24 next season. So a big part of my life is somewhere that I call home now. It's good for me to be part of it, and it's like a big family for me. Being here so long just keeps me pushing, wanting to strive and help the team out, which is the same goal I've had since I signed the first day. For me, the next step would just be to try and impress as much as I can. We've got Fabianski, Areola, and Randolph here as well. So I'm just going to try and push them as much as I can. I'm at the age now when I've got a lot more experience and appearances under my belt. So I feel like I'm a lot more mature than I was, and I feel like I've gotten everything I need to know. I think the next step for me is just try and impress as much as I can in the preseason games and hopefully catch the manager's eye. I try not to think about age too much. I just think at this time for goalkeepers, it's a long career, and 23, 24 is very young for a goalkeeper. For me, I just try and not even think about age at this point. I just try and show what I can do in my ability and see where it can take me. The Valero, the goalkeeper coach at West Ham, says that Nathan is a promising young goalkeeper with a bright future. He's got a fantastic attitude to his day-to-day work, and he just wants to keep learning and improving and working with the group of keepers we have here at West Ham with will only help his development. At 24, he's relatively young for a goalkeeper. We're excited about him, his progress in the course of years to come. Now, what I love about this is the fact that West Ham are backing a young goalkeeper. Something I've always said that West Ham should do. Clubs in Europe do it. Um, and you've got players who have got 200 appearances under their belt in Serie A, and they're only 22. So now Nathan Trott, 24, young goalkeeper still in terms of a goalkeeper, has committed to West Ham, but currently sits, in theory, joint third choice goalkeeper because he's not going to get in over Areola and Fabianski. However, if Fabianski's only got a year to go and he's signed the contract extension to 2024, he's got an opportunity here. Fabianski does a transition with Areola next year, and then bang, he's fighting it out for number 2 goalkeeper. And if West Ham keep playing European football, they obviously have the faith in this guy because this guy can be, they've committed to this man. Now, Joseph Nang is still out on loan to St. Patrick's. I think their season doesn't stop, or maybe it's stopping quite soon. But I think it's good that we're kicking in and giving this man, and he must, for a young player to commit his future to West Ham for another 2 seasons with an option of a further 2 seasons on top of that means that there's something in it. There's something in it. They've obviously got the faith in what he can do. So I do like this. It's good that we're snapping up the young talent. And yeah, really well done to Nathan Trott. I'm going to jump into the chat and see what everyone's saying as well. Where are we? It's the year for Benny, folks. 18, it says, see Benrahma back to Brentford and get James Ward-Prowse. Sonny Perkins, contract expires. I thought Sonny Perkins had a year left. Did he not? Sure he's not got a year left, Harley? Have I taken the fish fork for a date? No, I have. Not my joking, I can't see that. Can't see James Ward-Prowse joining. Nathan Trott extended his contract. Absolutely. He did sign youngsters and will never play. Is pointless. But I think if you look at the build-up, Fabianski's got 1 more year. He'll be gone. Areola will be first choice. Dan Randolph will probably be gone before Nathan Trott sits right in that second market and will get game time under there as well. Yep, absolutely. Golden generation incoming. Randolph will be on paternity leave next season. Chris already said no to us. Gaza, he's happy at Southampton. Chelsea have had a golden generation. They bugger up for the likes of 37-year-old Lukaku and Werner. Shirley Ashby is going to get some games in there. Yeah, I think he will as well. Areola has to start. Yep, Sonny Perkins does have another year. True, mate. I'm getting pie and manch for lunch today. Food of Kings, and it sounds amazing, mate. And I hope you do have a really good birthday as well. Russ Wannabe, do you reckon we'll go strong in the conference preliminary qualifier matches? Yes, because we'll want to qualify for it. So I do think we will go strong in those matches. I love how you call me Russ Wannabe. Well, I'm not offended. Why would I not want to be Russ? Russ, I love you, mate. Would love to see Areola starting the Prem, Gaza. Let's hope. I don't understand the Perkins situation at all. Loads of interest report for about 4 days and then nothing. It's just maybe trying to generate as much of the reports as they possibly can. Hi all, I can see the fish. Can you? I'm hiding them. I'm hiding them from you, GP. Don't you worry, mate. Don't you worry. I'll be back having that soon. Don't you worry, mate, when the season starts. So that really brings an end to today's show. It is really all about all or nothing season for West Ham. We have to commit. We have to back Moyes because this is it. This is the summer. We need to invest pure and utter quality into this team. But we have to invest wisely and not just bring in numbers for the sake of doing it. We can't afford to get rid of players. We really can't. We've got rid of enough. I think a couple more could go out the door, but as long as we replenish them. But the problem you've got is we're already lost 5 players, if you include Alex Crawl in that mix, and we've only brought in 2. So we're going to need the other 3 players to back that up, and then another 2 on top of that to try and equal what we've got. And then you're talking about getting rid of the likes of Diop, Vlasic, Benrahma, and Masuaku. It's not happening. It's really not happening. So, that's where I'm at. That is exactly where I am at. Listen, I appreciate everyone joining us. I really do apologise for not coming live as much as I would love to. It's just can't stomach the Queens. I really do appreciate. I mean, I do like to get live shows out for you as much as we can, but normality really is kicking back in. Meetings here, there, and everywhere. This kids' summer holidays are starting. Got football coming up. But listen, keep an eye on the channel later on. We've got Hammers headlines coming out at 5 o'clock. And then tomorrow we've got a little cheeky special. So make sure you do join us. I think the daily might be coming out a bit earlier tomorrow, probably a similar time. So keep an eye on the channel. Trust me, you will want to see the tomorrow's show for the daily. So please keep your eyes on the channel. Listen, I also appreciate the support for the channel. It's amazing. You've all been extremely loyal. I love it. It's great, and it's been good fun, and we have fun, and that's what it's all about, just having fun and giving you content as well. So we really do appreciate the support you do. If you are new around here, hit that subscription button. There is a bell notification beside that. That will then notify you when our shows do go live. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, please click that option to join, and there are going to be regular prize draws given to the channel members as well, which I'll need to get sent out today for the last prize draw. So we'll be on the case for that. Anyway, stay safe, and to you, Toby, happy birthday, and Howard, happy birthday for next week. And we'll see you at 5 o'clock. Come on, you Irons.